What if I told you that the United States is threatening India with a 500% tariff, not 5, not 50, but 500% simply because India is buying oil? This is not a rumor. This is not a social media exaggeration. This is a serious geopolitical threat shaking global markets. Today, we will break down what exactly the 500% tariff threat is, why the US is targeting India, why Russian oil is so important for India, whether this is economic pressure or economic bullying, and what this means for the future of the global order. Welcome to Knowledge Suitcase, where geopolitics meets reality. The controversy began after a new US sanctions bill gained support in Washington. The bill gives the US president power to impose tariffs of up to 500% on countries that continue buying Russian oil, gas, or energy products. The targets are clear: India, China, and other major buyers of Russian energy. A 500% tariff is not a normal trade measure. It is an economic nuclear weapon. If implemented, Indian goods entering the US market would become 5 times more expensive, effectively killing exports overnight. Important point: this tariff is proposed, not yet enforced. But the political signal is loud and clear. The US justification is simple, at least on paper. Washington argues that Russian oil revenue funds the Ukraine war. Countries buying Russian oil are indirectly supporting Moscow. Economic pressure is needed to isolate Russia completely. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The US and Europe themselves bought Russian oil and gas for years, even after Crimea in 2014. Only when Europe found alternative did morality suddenly become urgent. Now, the US wants total economic obedience, one global energy policy, and compliance with American sanctions, even by non-allies. This is not just about Russia, this is about who sets the rules of the global economy. To understand India's position, we must understand one thing: energy security is national security. India imports over 85% of its oil. After the Ukraine war, Russian oil became cheaper, discounts reached $20, 30 per barrel, payments were made in non-dollar currencies. For India, this meant lower fuel prices, controlled inflation, economic stability for 1.4 billion people. Let's be clear. India is not breaking any UN law. There is no UN ban on buying Russian oil. India's position is simple. We buy oil based on affordability, availability, and national interest. And in geopolitics, national interest always comes first. A 500% tariff is not diplomacy, it is pressure, it is punishment, it is coercion. This raises serious questions. Can one country dictate energy choices to another? Is trade becoming a weapon? Is globalization turning into economic imperialism? If India accepts this pressure, tomorrow it could be China, next day Brazil, then Turkey, Saudi Arabia, or Indonesia. This is why many experts call this weaponization of trade. The message is: follow our sanctions or face economic destruction. India and the US are strategic partners. They cooperate on defense technology, Indo-Pacific security, China containment. But this tariff threat creates deep mistrust. For India, strategic autonomy is non-negotiable. Foreign policy cannot be outsourced. Decisions will not be dictated by Washington. For the US, losing India means weakening its Indo-Pacific strategy. Pushing too hard could backfire geopolitically. This is a dangerous balancing act. If this bill becomes law, the consequences will be global. Possible outcomes: countries accelerate de-dollarization, trade shifts away from US markets. BRICS cooperation strengthens, alternative payment systems grow. Ironically, this policy could weaken US economic influence, push countries closer to Russia and China, speed up the end of US-led economic order. History shows empires fall not by war alone but by overuse of power. This is not just about oil, this is not just about tariffs, this is about sovereignty, power, and the future of global governance. The real question is, will the world accept a single economic enforcer or move toward a truly multipolar order? India's response to this pressure will be watched by the entire global south. One decision may define the next decade. What do you think? Is the US justified, or is this economic bullying? Comment below, share this video, and subscribe to Knowledge Suitcase for deep, honest geopolitics. Because knowledge is power and ignorance is expensive.